We're live.
All righty. Let's just roll right into it. Yo, 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 welcome back to the Out the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host James Luffy and Rory Luke. And today is a very special day. Very, very special day. Our very own Rory Luke's 25th birthday.
Yeah, 25th.
Birthday. We're going live on purpose today to celebrate Rory's birthday. Me and Luffy are on our lunch hour. Rory finished up finals. It is a great time right now. And what a great time for LSU sports as well. Luffy, yesterday, early signing period.
Yeah.
How do we do? How do we do in like a 3 second clip?
We did good for the circumstances, but not good overall.
Rory?
I'll take it.
All right.
I think it could have been better, but it could have been worse.
Wow, that is fantastic analysis. But I'm not gonna dog you because it's your birthday. Before we really get rolling, I want to give a huge shout out to Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. Blaine is the man. He is looking to get your business. Make sure to call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. If you want to buy a home, rent a home, or sell a home, call or text Blaine Loop at any time. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network. Boot Crew is rounding out the year. There's always a giveaway. There's a giveaway every Sunday for the Saints game. So make sure to check that out on bootcrewmedia.com and at Boot Crew Media on social media. All right, just before we get rolling, this is going to kind of be a little bit of an abbreviated show. Last night we had some recording trouble, as some of you might have saw on Twitter. Our mics they're shot. I don't know what it is. I guess we've been working them too hard.
But it's better that we get to record today because Rory got an early birthday present, or actually a timely birthday present.
Yeah.
Brennan is coming back, breaking news. And that just happened, an hour ago?
About an hour ago, the Slim Reaper.
He's back. He's back for another year.
And Luffy, you had said something about this. I think like a week and a half ago, you had said that there were whispers about Miles Brennan potentially coming back.
Well, did we talk about it last week? I can't remember if we did.
I don't think we mentioned it on the show, but I remember you texted us that.
I think that I just think that because of Miles Frazier, offensive tackle, just landed. I'm getting it live. Sorry, I'm getting it on my phone. Home, boom. Offensive tackle, 6'6", 320 from FIU. The
freshman All-American.
All-American will be suiting up for the Tigers next year. Double good news for Rory's birthday. But yeah, as far as Miles goes, I think that people just got a feeling that, he really loves LSU and Louisiana, and he didn't really want to leave. And the circumstances changing. Obviously the reports come out. He got to talk to Brian Kelly, and then Max left and is going to A&M. And so I think he sees an opportunity, and he's got two young guys under him that probably need a year to grow, and it's his job.
Is he playing in the bowl game?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't think so either.
We don't even know. I guess Pete's will call plays, but I doubt he really knows the system. I don't know how far along and maybe along the offense they were when he was there. Rory, you might know more about that than me.
If you think about it, all right, so the bowl game's January 3rd.
It's not much time.
There's not much that he has, and Christmas is next week, and then they leave for the bowl site the week after. So, really, they probably have maybe a full week, if maybe 5 to 7 days of practice left, and that's just not enough time to get him in and get him up to speed. I think. And if you think about it, he hasn't really been with the team the whole season. He hasn't taken a live snap pretty much all year since he broke his arm, because he was just kind of hurt. And then as soon as he got healthy, he was in the transfer portal, and you're not practicing when you're in the transfer portal. You're still not with the team. So I don't think he starts at the bowl game. I think it should – I think it should still be Nuss. If it's not – Nuss can redshirt next year. There's nothing against redshirting your sophomore year. You can redshirt any year. You don't have to redshirt your freshman year. So if Nuss doesn't play 4 games next year, he'll have taken the redshirt. So you only get one, but you can. I'm almost positive you can take it whenever. You don't have to take it your freshman year.
And if a worldwide pandemic breaks out and some chips fall where they may, you could get 2 red shirts.
Exactly.
So
I don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive that you can take your red shirt any year.
I think you can too, Rory. I think you're right about that.
I
think you're right, but
especially now it's very much a leeway with your red shirt. So I feel like if anything, that would make sense that you could take it in your second year. I think it's perfect having Miles back. I mean, you get one more year of Miles. Finally, hopefully, he can stay off the boats. No outdoorsman stuff. He can't go deer hunting either. Nothing in the deer stand. Tell him no ducks. Can't go to the blind.
That guy's not going hunting this season. you got another thing coming, didn't him and Scott Woodward and Clyde weren't they all duck hunting together the other day, or was that just Woodward and Clyde?
I don't know.
Either way, the dude's gonna be outdoors. Like you can't take that out of somebody.
But I mean, it's really like a perfect situation because you bring him in for a year, and then you get to have this Nuss Walker Howard QB battle. Would probably be one of the only schools with 3 scholarship quarterbacks at this point. I mean, we're used to pretty much you have 2 and that's it. We'll have 3, and they'll probably all stay. I can't imagine one of them's going to transfer because Nuss and Howard are going to. I think they fight for the job. That 2023 spring, and I think it's going to be even. You're not going to see one take in front of the other. So I think it ends up being a perfect situation. You bring in Miles, and Miles finally gets a shot, and I'm excited.
So early look, does Miles get the start next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably why they brought him back. They probably looked around, seeing Calzada. Apparently, he wanted to come to LSU, and some of the other guys that are in the portal. Emory Jones from Florida is in the portal now too, and I think Brian Kelly probably took a look at those guys and thought he already had a guy living in Baton Rouge that was better, and called him and re-recruited him, and Miles is all in. So I think he definitely gets a starting job.
Yeah, I think
Brian Kelly going to put a video up with Miles Brennan, kind of like the Walker Howard one? Is he that excited?
Maybe they'll go fishing together, John.
And they'll do a dance on the boat.
They should. He needs to wear like bubble wrap when he goes fishing.
So, while we kind of clean up the Miles Brennan talk, I know it's big news, broke in the last hour. Let's clean it up with Workbox. I love you.
Yes, let's do it. Workbox is one of Louisiana's leaders in construction, industrial, and residential services. If you need anything, you've got to call Workbox. They provide storage containers, portable offices, portable restroom rentals, and roll-off dumpsters. They have the cleanest porta potties in the game. We say it every single week. You have to call Martine at Workbox at 225-343-4886 if you need a porta potty, if you need a roll-off dumpster, if you need a portable office, if you need storage containers, portable luxury restroom rentals. Call Workbox at 225-343-4886.
All right. So yesterday, the early signing period for LSU, on paper, it looks like a down year, right? But I think, kind of like you were saying at the beginning, Luffy, like there was some positive, like this is just kind of funny, but a guy at work turned with me and he goes, "You heard Walker Howard signed?" And it was like, well, yeah, like that was very much, that the 5-star quarterback who has been tight with Brian Kelly and who released the video of them two dancing with each other. Wow, man.
That's how we looked, Tom.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Maybe we need to make a video with you, Rory, kind of, doing the whole thing. Maybe you and me standing back to back.
Me and you. You can be Brian Kelly. I'll be Walker Howard.
So, all right. So, y'all want to kind of run down the list of recruits. Obviously, the 2 5-stars, Walker Howard and Will Campbell. Did we miss some other 5-stars that we wanted?
Yeah, I'll just kind of go down the list here, starting with some of the guys at the top. Obviously, Walker Howard from Lafayette went to St. Thomas More, 5-star quarterback, best quarterback in the class, and I mean he probably needs a couple years to grow, but a super athletic guy who's got a cannon. If you want to watch his highlight tape, it's pretty fun to watch. He'll, scroll to his
all
all the way to his left.
What's kind of crazy about like Walker Howard is, I mean, I don't understand how this happens, but Walker Howard was a number one quarterback going into the year once Quinn Ewers like reclassified to this class. And then now he's like number 3 or 4. Like there's 3 or 4 other guys just in front of him. I don't understand how that happens. Still a top 40 player. It doesn't really matter. Like you just get your guy when it comes to quarterback rankings. Like it doesn't really matter if he's number 1 or number 4. Like he's still a top 40 player. But I mean, I think you couldn't get a better guy. Probably one of the best quarterback prospect from Louisiana that I can remember. In recent years, besides that guy that went to Michigan, but he only lived in Louisiana for like a year. I don't remember his name. Yeah, Shea Patterson. But like, it was a no-brainer to get this kid, and I think he's somebody that LSU fans are really gonna love.
Yeah, I mean, his dad played at LSU. He loves LSU and has always wanted to come here, and it was pretty awesome to see him just keep his commitment through the coaching change. Another 5-star on some of the sites, Will Campbell, the tackle from the 318, went to Neville. Big athletic tackle, and he's a guy that you really want to have locking down the left or right side of your O-line for 3 years possibly.
Yeah, I think he definitely, like, he's a big guy, long guy, definitely could use to get into a college weight room. And just he kind of looks like, I mean, this is just like a subjective opinion by me, but he looks like he has like a little bit of baby fat on him. Like he kind of looks like a little young.
Yep.
He does. Just looks like he could use, like, I don't think this is a guy, like, I think he is going to end up being a great player, but I don't think it's a guy that comes in right away and is like ready to play like some other guys we might talk about on the offensive line. But I think that he comes in and gets like a year in a college weight room and really kind of like builds up to his body potential, like where he can get to. And I think he's going to be a great player.
Yeah, Roy, I agree with that. I hear a lot of people, like, when they talk about these big-time O-line recruits, like, think they're going to come in and start all right away. But that's one of the hardest positions to evaluate, but also, like, one of the hardest positions to come in and start right away, I think.
Yeah, I think, like, to come in and start right away, you need a combination of both, like, the size and the strength to play. And then you also need the mechanics. Like, the college game is different than – like the college offensive line game is so much different. Like I get, wide receivers can come in and like your route package in high school compared to college is different. It's bigger, but you're just running crisper, cleaner routes. Like you're not, when you get to college and play offensive line, like there's so many different things that you were just a bigger guy most of the time. And now everybody's your size when you come to the SEC. So it's like you have to not only be the bigger guy, but you also have to be a technician, and you have to know where to put your hands, how to move your feet, like the little things like that. And sometimes that takes a while to learn, especially if you don't have like that teaching. I always think about Willie Allen. Like Willie Allen, huge guy, huge player coming in, 6'8", just a massive guy, but played at John Curtis where – they run the wing T. When you're playing in the wing T, like you're not running. Nobody runs that offensive line. Like that's a completely different strategy than any other offensive line in major college football. So you come in and you got to learn from the ground up. I don't expect that from Campbell, but it's just a completely different kind of like game and a level of play, especially on the offensive line.
I just can't imagine coming in to, especially the SEC, that there's any more difficult of a spot, right? I mean, like wide receivers that shows more athleticism, but I think the combination of mechanics and the strength, like you're talking about, it's just such a large jump.
And like I would say that maybe quarterback has to make that jump, but you've seen in recent years quarterbacks just becoming so athletic that they don't have to make all the right plays at the right time, and they can just kind of use their athleticism like Caleb Williams did this year. I mean, Oklahoma wasn't as great, but like Caleb Williams just came in and used his athleticism. So I think offensive line for sure is probably the hardest position to come in as like a true freshman and play that first game. I think maybe by the end of the year, like we saw with Garrett Dellinger, you can definitely get in and be a productive player. But I think to come in, start week one, it's very challenging.
Let's talk about another big in-state get. Quincy Wiggins from Madison Prep. I mean, he was just kind of a must-get guy, a guy that Bama really wanted, A&M really wanted.
It was a little dicey for a second.
Yeah.
Whenever he was picking, I didn't know.
Dicey for a second. And it's a guy that you would have hate to lose. I mean, 6'6", just an athletic freak, and a guy that you don't want to play against. So you definitely want him on your team.
Yeah, big get as well. A guy that we were fighting with Alabama for, big time guy that you get hometown Baton Rouge type of guy. Good
and
to
a guy
have.
that probably could be in the rotation in the first year as well.
I mean, that's gonna be a tough rotation to crack though. Defensive line is still stacked for sure.
That is. All right, we'll move on to Terrace Welsh, the cornerback from Acadian. 4-star guy. He was someone that was committed to Coach Corey Raymond and was really the only cornerback that we held on to that Corey had recruited previously, and it was important that they finish strong with him. And I know there was some worry about a couple of other schools. I think Arkansas was a big player there, but it's great to get him on campus. Next, tight end from Fort Lauderdale. We're going out of state now. First out of state guy we've talked about, Mason Taylor. Also a tight end who is sneaky. I don't think a lot of people know his name.
Yeah, I didn't. I had to look him up. I thought it was a Louisiana guy.
Yeah.
And so I was like looking through the Louisiana prospects trying to find him, and then I figured out he was a Florida kid. So,
but a guy who had offers from, I believe, Georgia and Bama really wanted him as well at some point. So that's
I think also just like a general thing, like a quick tidbit, stars matter, but you should also look at who else offered this kid.
Him, yeah.
Because I know we'll get down to him, one of the lower guys, can't remember off the top of his head, defensive lineman. And I'm looking at him 3-star guy, okay, who is this kid? And then you look at his offers, and he's got an Alabama, LSU, and a Georgia offer.
We can talk about him right now if you want. Ty G. Hill from Carr.
Yeah.
3-star, 3-star guy, but he does have big offers, like you're saying. Is that's a potential thing, Rory? I mean, is that for
I think it's just I think it's just college football, the 247 and the rival evaluators being a little bit worse than the LSU and the Alabama scouts. Those guys Alabama, LSU, these SEC schools, most schools will send out specific guys, watching tape, watching these guys, and they know what works. So I think so do the 247 guys. But I mean, you look at a kid like Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson wasn't even ranked, and now he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. So it's just some of these misses that 247 doesn't get. But I think looking at somebody's offers says a lot more than their stars. A 3-star guy with LSU, Alabama offers, that kid's legit. 3-star or not, you can put him up with any other 4-star, and I'm sure it'd be fine.
So let's talk about another 3-star guy on the O-line, Bo Bordelon, LSU legacy, goes to Newman. Another guy who probably needs a couple of years. Pretty slim, 6'5". I think he's about 250, 260. Have you watched any of him? I mean, that's your area of evaluation for this podcast.
I haven't watched him specifically, but I was looking through his Instagram yesterday, and he is he's lean, but he's long guy. He reminds me a lot of Lloyd Cushenberry, and that's a lofty expectation for somebody. I mean, Lloyd is in the NFL, still playing, 4th-round draft pick, national champion. But Lloyd Cushenberry was a 3-star coming out of high school, just a long guy, long arms, not the tallest. The Bo Bordelon's he's got long arms, and you can play when you got long arms. I mean, and you can play that center role. I mean, smart kid, obviously. And LSU background. So I think that's that's what I would if it were a perfect world, that's what I would expect out of him. A Lloyd Cushenberry plays center your junior and senior year, get in a college weight room, get stronger, like get faster, lean down, like maybe bulk up, lean down like the fat, bulk up with get big and learn the system and just become better over time, and become like a Lloyd Cushenberry, become play center for us.
How about another lineman, the more star, more highly recruited?
They're waiting on this one
from John's Catholic High School of Baton Rouge.
What a beast! And the thing is,
a guy who's not small.
He's
small.
A great, good guy too.
Yes,
he's a good guy. He's coming out of Catholic,
6'4", I think 340. A guy who I don't think you would describe as lean, Rory.
Dude, he is
not at all.
I know offense is your specialty, but when I was at the state championship game a couple weeks ago when Catholic High took it home, like you can just tell with this guy, it's like he's playing a different game than these kids, right? Like
he was just demolishing those little Jesuit boys.
Like I mean, all the teams that we played, but like you could just tell, like Rory, you were saying how like it's difficult on the offensive line to come in and make a difference. I mean, with the right coaching, he's one of those guys that has the size, and you could tell he's just a smart guy, a class act as well. That's just a given coming out of Catholic, but like he's a type of guy that could potentially shake things up on an already weak offensive line, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. He definitely has the body to and this is what I was going to say, he has the body to come in and play right away. He also has definitely the pedigree. I mean, Catholic High is obviously a very good football program. I'll give you that one, John. With good coaches. And so he knows how to play offensive line and is a guy that looks the part of coming in and playing right away. I think of like a Chasen Hines when he came in as a freshman and played, or Sadiq Charles, like both those guys had looked the part.
Good comparisons.
To play in right away. And I don't know if that's him, but like that's what you see right now. He looks the part to come in and play right away. Those are two guys that had to come in and step up and play right away. And even like an Ed Ingram, I don't know if he's as big as Ed. Ed is a huge guy, but that's what you see with him. And I think he's definitely somebody who, if he's not in the first five, he's that sixth or seventh guy that's coming in when somebody's injured and different things like that. I'm super excited for him. I think he's going to be a great player for us, for sure.
All right, last offensive lineman. And we talked about Miles Frazier earlier, who just committed, who we think could definitely start a tackle. Probably will start a tackle. But this guy is from Laffey, Gerald West. He's another 3-star, 6'2", 320. A guy who's definitely doesn't have the recruiting profile is like an Emory Jones or a Will Campbell, but a guy who seems to love LSU and we'll probably need a couple years of developing like some of those other guys you've talked about, Rory.
Yeah, and this is like one of the guys that I was talking about as well. Like you look down his list of offers, or like on 247, you look at his current list of offers, and you see LSU, and then it's like SMU, Akron, Austin P, and you're like, all right, why do we have this kid? And then you see Alabama on there as well. You see Oregon. Like this guy doesn't have he doesn't have the 25 offers, but he's got 13 offers, and 10 of them are from mid-major schools, and then 3 of them are from LSU, Alabama, and Oregon. So there's obviously something there. Like there's potential in this guy that other people that, evaluators see people. I mean, especially when you're Alabama, LSU.
Like those are the only two offers that matter. I mean, Oregon, yes, but like those are the only two. If you're a college and you don't want a player that LSU or Alabama offers, that there's no that doesn't make any sense to me, right?
Also, if you think about it,
everybody in the country should want this kid.
If you think about it, like who recruits Louisiana the best? It's LSU and Alabama. Nobody recruits Louisiana like those two football teams. So anybody who's going to find the underground talent that's in Alabama or in Louisiana is going to be LSU or Alabama. So, I mean, I think that speaks for itself. A guy that's not a 3-star, but and I don't really know much about him, but it's definitely somebody to look out for, down the line. I mean, those two offers don't come easy.
Yep. And then to switch back to defense, another Florida guy, linebacker Demario Tollens. Like there was a lot of people out of him late. We know after we lost a couple coaches, but apparently Blake Baker did a great job closing on him. I think he could be the next, next big linebacker at LSU. We've obviously had Clark, Queen, Devin White, Jacob Phillips. So many guys come through recently that are NFL players, and I think he, sees himself as that next guy in the linebacker room. And then another guy who we added really late. This was a Brian Kelly offer and recruitment. Also, probably a little bit of who else recruited him? Rory, the DB Jordan Allen. Forgetting they sent to recruit him, but with Kelly that day. But he's a guy who wasn't offered originally.
I think they sent Frank.
Guy, but Frank. Yes, Frank Wilson was with him that day, I think, and I think that he's a guy who could develop into something, even though he's only a 3-star. Like I think he's a hard hitting safety and a guy who loves playing football and wanted to be at LSU.
And that's like another thing is that what you get with these 3-stars is they're people who want to play at LSU. And like you can group what's his name from Mandeville?
Landon Ibieta.
Yeah, you can group Ibieta into this as well. Like guys that get their offer kind of late, but Louisiana guys probably grew up loving LSU, like watching LSU every Saturday. Those are the type of the guys that stick around, don't transfer. Like they're going to be here for 4 years. I mean, unless they really aren't good, then they'll transfer. But like, if they really don't have a shot. But like, they're guys that'll be here when they're a senior, and will show up then.
Yeah, guys are going to put the work in the offseason too. I think both Ibieta and Jordan Allen, you've heard that. Like these guys are hard workers who love playing football and committed to their craft.
I just think about it like another guy. I'm just making comparisons of people that I just know, like a Russell Gage. Like Russell Gage didn't really do anything until he was a junior, senior, but played the hell out of special teams. Like was always in there on special teams. Adonai Alexander, another Louisiana guy who didn't really start until his senior year, and then came in and played well. So I think that's what you kind of like accrue these. And then best case scenario, one of these guys turns into Foster Moreau, Jack Best type of guys who are 3-stars who came in to LSU and just kind of exploded onto the scene.
Yeah, and people were saying maybe Landon Ibieta and Jordan Allen are more of like Brian Kelly guys, like what he want, what type of player he's looking for too. So that's also I think part of those two guys wanted to come to LSU. And lastly, I think the only guy that we haven't talked about is the kicker, Mr. Nathan Dilbert from Michigan. What a name!
Love that.
What a name! He's following it. He'll be following in line of Cole Tracy and Kay York, so he's got some big shoes to fill. But I think he's the number 2 kicker overall in the country, so it's important. Like it's obviously
it is.
To have a good kicker and to keep one in line, and it's a scholarship that's definitely worth it if you're getting somebody that's good enough, right?
Right, and also like these next couple of years of LSU football are not going to be like. At least in the general consensus is like we're not gunning for a national championship. It's almost like rebuilding what was essentially broken. And to have an offense that's going to be learning, I know Miles is going to come back. Hopefully he'll get the job and all that. But to have the turnover that we're going to have, a new offensive coordinator, whatnot, having a kicker that can sink it is going to be crucial.
I agree.
Right.
It's crucial all the time, but you know what I mean.
All right, so we've been talking about the good. We can talk about, I think, the bad for a little bit. Shaz Preston, Aaron Anderson.
Oh, I thought you were going for the snake.
Oh, no, he'll be last. We'll get to it. I'm going for Shaz Preston and Aaron Anderson going to Bama. 2 wide receivers that we're going to have to face. It sucks. Like, you lose 2 guys from your backyard, an hour away from LSU, and they're going to play for your rival, and one of them is going to end up being a first-round draft pick, one of the two guys, and it sucks. Like, it sucks that we have had to play against so many guys that are.
It's always the receivers,
and it's receivers. It's been linebackers, and it really does suck. Like, it's hard to say you won the day when those two guys are leaving and going to Alabama. It just is you're definitely not catching up to them.
I think this will. This year, it's going to even out. It has to even out at some point. I think this year. This might be a hot take. I don't even know, but like this year should be Brian Kelly's worst recruiting year at LSU because he came in so late, doesn't have an offensive coordinator, doesn't have a defensive coordinator. I expect Brian Kelly to get in here and figure it out in the next couple of years and close that gap, close those guys that are on the fence between LSU and Bama, because as of right now, the path at Bama for a player to go in, possibly, likely, very likely win a natty and make it to the NFL is a lot more clear and straightforward than it is at LSU at this moment.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you're right, John. You're definitely right about that. And I have some more breaking news for everyone. Trey Palmer is entering the transfer portal.
Well, that's not good news.
So I think we're losing him and Core Moore from the wide receiver group. But there's
next
definitely there's next man up. There's definitely some space in that wide receiver room. That's kind of why I'm surprised. Like Deion Smith is deciding to transfer. They should honestly try to pull him back in. But honestly, like Neighbors and Brian Thomas and Butte coming back. There's some Besh. There's some studs. Like there are some studs in that room, and I think Trey Palmer probably just kind of felt himself getting up.
And Trey, he never kind of panned out. He had
injury issues. He has a lot of speed, but
it never felt like he put it together. He was always that guy that like was explosive, but never really felt like he was going to make a difference. Always would make like one or two plays here, but that was it.
A couple guys that could close LSU's recruiting class and really send it like to the top. I would say Kendrick Law, who's going to commit, I think tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
And then
Captain Shreve guy.
From Captain Shreve, from Shreveport. And then Jacoby Matthews, 5-star safety, top 20 player in the country from Ponchatoula. You got to go close on him. You cannot let A&M have him. That's an absolute must get, especially after losing those DBs that we did. You have to go get Jacoby Matthews. And I think Kendrick Law, too, you cannot let him get away to Bama. And then Harold Perkins, I think he'll be hard to take out of Texas, just between the Texas and Texas A&M money. But 5-star linebacker, that would obviously be huge. Devontae Citizen, who recently decommitted from Lake Charles. Frank's got to get him back on board. Rory, you're our insider on that guy.
Sure.
And then there's going to be some other guys pop up that are committed to other schools that did not sign yesterday that I think they're going to go after.
I think you're going to see legwork happen right now. I mean, there's no if you really think about it, most of the guys that Brian Kelly hired aren't even coaching right now. Like Frank Wilson isn't really coaching in a bowl game, I don't think. So I think Brian Kelly's not coaching the bowl game either. I think they're really going to boots to the ground this last 2 months or month and really get guys before February. Try to get people in. And I'm with you. I think if you get Law and Matthews and then you hit the transfer portal hard, it's a down year, but it's not the worst.
I expect him to go after a transfer linebacker. I think maybe another transfer offensive lineman, a transfer cornerback maybe, just to provide some depth there.
Why do we need another cornerback?
Because the snake, Eli Rick, Mr. Attention Wanter, is transferring to Alabama.
That's a burn right there.
It's a weak move. It's a soft move.
You're
wrong.
Did you see Savion Smith tweeted at him too?
What did he say? I didn't see that.
Like he just tweeted like a bunch of like laughing emojis or some shit like that. Like
it's so like that is like
Savion Smith's bagging groceries right now.
And it's so nice that it's nice that they're getting publicly paid now, right? He wanted out from LSU so he could get some big Alabama NIL deal. You can criticize as far now they're getting paid. People can't say, "Oh, you can't criticize him. You can't call him soft." No, they're getting paid. He's getting paid over $500,000. You can criticize him. He's soft. It is what it is.
He tweeted.
There's no other way to say it. Go ahead, Rory.
He tweeted, "Love to see it," with a bunch of laughing emojis.
Shout out Dwight McLaughlin. He called him out, and he also tweeted before that, come on, let's go get the young guys and let's go to work. So,
that's just insane. Rick's to Alabama is insane. You play Alabama every year, that's just insane. I can't believe that.
It shouldn't. And honestly, and I know it changed recently. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to go within the same conference. I mean, I understand the past few years have been rough, and there's been some exceptions that need to be made, but they need to get rid of that. I mean, send him. I would have been, I'd been fine if he goes to Ohio State, right? Ohio State, go there, play, and if you're lucky, we'll see you at the end of the season. But I mean, just going somewhere. That Bama, despite the record and all that's LSU's biggest rival. We have to play him every single year. The whole thing with Nick Saban, that's LSU's team that we would want to beat most every year.
Yeah, it's crazy that Max is going to A&M and he just threw a touchdown pass 2 weeks ago to beat them.
Yeah,
crazy. But they're gonna have a lot of talent to work with A&M with the number one class, right?
Yeah, they're spending the money. They're spending the money over there in Texas for sure. Texas is doing it as well. You see them high in their recruiting rankings. Another thing, the rankings don't matter in a sense that there's a bunch of teams ranked in front of us because they have more people committed, not because they have more quality. So you're always looking for quality over quantity. The teams at the top obviously have both. Bama, Texas A&M, Georgia. They have both quality and quantity, but we have quality. Now we just need to get some quantity to move up in the rankings. That's just why we're so low.
Yeah. Also, really, you recruit 25 guys or 22 guys, whatever it is, and in today's world, 10 of those guys are transfer. That's just how it is. We already had 6 guys transfer from the 2020 class. That's just how it is. People leave. It doesn't matter where you are. They leave from Alabama. They leave from Texas. They just leave. Mike Jones left from Clemson. So, it doesn't really matter. I think what you really need is, we do have the quality. We just don't have the quantity. The only thing that really hurts you with is you just have less swings. That's what it is. At the end of the day, you get 25 swings at prospects, and you got to hit 5 of those or 10 of those to be a really good football team. So the better players, the more you get, the better 4 and 5 stars, the more swings you get at quality players. For us, we just have to make sure that the guys that we got this year, we hit. And if we hit, it doesn't matter. This class will be fine. So.
All right, final thoughts. I think I'm gonna get fired if we go any longer.
Yeah, I'm good. I think we got it all in. We did a good job. I think kind of cramming that in.
So, a couple quick notes. We're suspending the House Always Wins segment this week. Not much sports going on. And yes, we will be taking next week off for Christmas week.
Merry Christmas.
Me at Out the Box need to kind of unwind and kind of reset. With the new year coming up. So we hope all the Out the Box family has a very, very Merry Christmas. Enjoy the time with your family. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out.
We will be back
week before
December 29th when LSU plays Auburn.
Yes.
Basketball.
We will be back. We will have a show for the last week of the year to kind of round out the year. Shout out to the House Bar in Tigerland. Also, make sure holidays are a great time to go to the House Bar in Tigerland. Wear your ugly Christmas sweater there. They have all kinds of deals. They have eggnog, Rory? They got spiked eggnog?
I don't know.
Well,
if not, we can make some moves. If you really want spiced eggnog, tweet at us. Let us know. We'll get you in touch with the right people.
Yes. Follow the House Bar in Tigerland on Instagram and Facebook at House in Tigerland, and on Twitter at Tigerland House. Also, Blaine Loop I forgot to tell you that Keller Williams is an equal opportunity housing partner. Each office independently owned and operated. And shout out to Workbox and to Boot Crew Media. Thank you guys so much for listening. We say it every single week. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. And shout out to Deion Sanders for pulling the #1 recruit.
And Miles Brennan.
That's my off.
He listens. Shout out Deion.
All right.
The Slim Reaper is back.
Rory, you got to get to the spa for your birthday.
Happy birthday, Rory.